Created live on Fireside.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of Drunks, co-hosted by me, Coach Ray Z, and Ty.
What's up?
How you doing today?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
Good, and thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And did you get a workout in today?
I did. I ran at 5:30ish. Did a lot of errands with the wife, and it was a pretty interesting run. Actually, we spent the weekend in Long Beach, just kind of chill. Husband and wife thing, kids with my sister. So we spent a lot of time drinking tequila and beer, like literally all weekend. So it was kind of grueling, but I handled it. Not the best run, but I ran. So yeah, kind of like that.
Well, that's good. I hope you guys had a good time. And I think we just had National Tequila Day. So what kind of tequila did you have with your wife?
Actually, wanted to talk to you about that. It's really good tequila, very well priced. I know you know the Rock, but have you heard of the Terramana?
Oh, yes, I have. I actually have not had a chance to try it, but I have heard of that, the Rocks Tequila, and such a huge fan. I'm surprised I haven't had a shot yet.
I'm surprised as well. I wanted to talk to you about that, dude. Ray, it's seriously really good tequila. Like I think Patron. I think it's just really smooth. It's great buzz. It's awesome. There's no like Diablo doesn't come out. A little Pepe Le Pew, but we won't talk about that. Really good stuff. We had a lot of Palomas. I had it straight. Either way, it's good stuff. Highly recommended. And it's like $30, so it's like no big deal. Doesn't break the wallet at all.
And is your wife a fan of the tequila too, or no?
She hates tequila by itself. Bad memories of when she was 20, but she'll have a Paloma or a margarita.
Okay, well, that's good. And today we are continuing our beer tasting that we started last week. We had the Elysian Contact Haze, which was 6%. And then we just kind of decided to kind of keep it within the same type of beer. And so this week we're going to be trying out the Elysian Superfuzz, which is a blood orange pale ale, and it is a 6.4%. And I'm not sure. Have you tried this one before?
I have not. This is my first time buying. I bought the variety pack, and it comes with the Elysian Superfuzz, the Contact Haze, which you tried yesterday. our last podcast, and then it comes with the other one I wanted to try. What was it called? The space dust. Happy about trying the space dust because I haven't tried that one as well. We may be able to sneak that one in too. We'll see how it goes.
According to the website, you can get a 6-pack, a half keg, or a full keg. And I actually had a hard time finding the 6-pack, but of course I wasn't like going to look for it forever. So I got the variety pack as well. Did you have any luck finding the 6-pack anywhere?
I saw that they had a 6-pack of the stronger IPA. It was the full contact, I believe. And they had it was either a 6-pack or a 4-pack. I just know I saw it by itself. It might have even been bigger. Do they carry a 12-pack in that?
Not according to the website.
Okay, I saw something. I was like, oh, okay. And then I also saw the space dust in its own. I'm not sure if it was a 6 or a 4.
Okay. And so today we're gonna be trying out the Superfuzz Blood Orange, and last week we kind of touched a little bit on bottle or can, which is better. And since we're drinking at home, today I think we could kind of maybe expand on that a little bit and go into do you drink it straight from the bottle or can, or do you use a mug?
Yeah, that's right. It depends on the beer. For me, like yesterday, for instance, at the bar, they have the cool little bar in Rancho Cucamonga we go to called September's. Shout out to September's. And they have the big traditional 30-ounce goblet or 32 or whatever it is. It thing's lovely. It's impressive. And the draft out of that, I was drinking the regular 805. And man, 805 tastes so much better on tab than it does in a can or a bottle. So, I guess it depends on the beer, right?
Oh, yes. Well, I don't know, I was kind of thinking about that. I keep my mugs in the freezer because I like that cold taste when you pour in the beer. But then at the same time, I only have 2 mugs, and after that, I can't keep repeating it. So I guess that is one advantage to going to a bar versus drinking it at home if you like the cold mug. Um, but let's go ahead and you have a beer handy so we can try it out and give people the review. And I also see John uh, gonna requesting to come up, and he joined us last week, and I know he's excited for the show, and he has a 6 pack, so I'm sure he could give us some more insight on if he had any luck finding the 6 pack. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring him up.
That's right. What's up, John?
Hey, what's going on, my friends? How y'all doing tonight?
Good, good. John, how about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. I couldn't wait for you guys. I'm already 2 in. But,
All right.
no, I was lucky enough to find the 6 pack at the literally at the corner store right around from my house.
Nice, same. Yeah, I found one in my corner store. They have a pretty good selection.
And John, how much did the 6 pack run you over
We're
there?
about $12.99 over here.
Okay. And thank you, everybody, for listening in. Let's kind of give them a little update. This show is our second episode. It's co-hosted by me, Coach Ray Z, and my friend Ty. We've known each other forever, and we love to work out and run, and we like to earn our beer. We're also beer enthusiasts, not experts. And so we just kind of started this beer review show. And this week, we're trying the Elysian Superfuzz, which is the blood orange pale ale, and it is 6.4% alcohol. And each week we'll be trying out different beers. We'll let you know what beers we're going to be bringing on so that you could review it with us and let us know what you think. So I'm going to go ahead and get my mug ready. And since, John, you've already tried it, what do you think?
Well, Ray, as I've told you the last time that we spoke, I'm an absolute sucker for the blood orange ales if it's done right, and I do find the Super Fuzz to be pretty well balanced. Like, they didn't go too sweet with it, and I've always found that Elysian's IPA blends are usually pretty mellow. Like, they're not too hoppy, they're not too intense. So personally, I find this to be just incredibly drinkable. And speaking of earning your beer, I went on a 5-mile bike ride not too long ago. So that first one tasted really, really good coming right out of the fridge, you know.
Nice.
I was just about to mention that. I know, John, you don't really run, but you do cycle. So that's great. I'm glad you earned your beer. And myself, I'm running the Lake Tahoe Triple Marathon in October. So I'm basically going to run around the lake in 3 days. So I've been really training really hard for that. And basically, I run 3 days straight besides my working out. So Sunday, I did 11 miles, which is the last day, which is for me kind of the toughest. And so today, I worked on mobility more than anything. And I'm part of what's called the ATG family, which is coaches. And they had some gun expert on there who's like a federal agent. And he was just talking about how you got to be able to, get flexible and get on your knees and be able to survive, and how basically their whole slogan is the more mobile you are, the better chance you have of survival. So mobility equals survivability. And so that kind of I've been getting more flexible, more stronger. So I after hearing that, I'm even more motivated because there's nothing like being able to feel strong and not having tight hips or lower back pain.
Yeah, I will drink to that, sir.
And so I'm cracking open my beer. And Ty, have you taken a sip yet?
I have not. I'm just waiting for my cue. Go ahead and get your beer ready. I wanted to share in case anybody was interested. It's interesting. Before I tried it, I wanted to kind of read about it a little bit. But the style is, of course, the blood orange pale ale. And the tasting notes, it's a mind-bending whirl of the aromas and flavors of blood orange and Northwest hops. Orange peel added to the whirlpool and blood orange in the fermenter. The malts are pale, Munich, and dexter pills. The hops, bittered with German, Northern Brewer, and Cascade hops, and finished with Citra and Amarillo. And the body is medium. So I think that's what you're saying about John. It's very drinkable. I believe that's what they mean by the body being medium.
Yeah, not.
Yeah, that sounds good. And what is the IBU? It's at 45. What is that exactly?
The bitter scale. So that's as far as pale ales go. It's not quite as bitter.
Oh, okay, good. That's good to know. Did you know the acronym for that? What IB actually means?
No, actually, I didn't. It's just from years of hanging around people who know way more than I do.
That's right. We can Google it later. All
All right, well,
good.
here, when drinking beer, there are many factors considered, principal among them being bitterness and the variety of flavors present in the beverage and their intensity, alcohol content, and color. And the IBU guide is basically a breakdown of like how bitter and how potent is that flavor profile.
Okay, awesome, awesome.
Well, as I mentioned in our first show here at Drunks, episode 2, we show and I'm sorry, we don't show. We spare no expense, and so Joe Rogan has Jamie, and according to Google, which is our Jamie, it stands for International Bitterness Units,
Makes sense.
which I never knew that. And as I mentioned, I love beer, but I'm not that into beer, which that's a great little knowledge thing to know because I'm not that big into bitter beers myself.
Yeah, finding that good, healthy balance between the bouquet that they're throwing in there, and then the right amount of bitterness, because a little bit is good. Like I don't want to drink a beer that's closer to a cider if I'm wanting to.
Yeah, I got you. I actually just tried it right now, and it is a really good beer. Very drinkable. I like it. It's a hint of the orange. I don't really taste it. It's not dominant at all, and that's a good thing for me because I want to taste the beer, not fruit. It's pleasant. It's really good. It's a really good beer. I'd like to let me drink more.
So Ty, I'm gonna wonder, and Ray, like as you guys continue to drink it, this is just something that I've noticed is it's kind of like any other beer that has a complex flavor profile. Is the more you drink, it seems the more those flavors tend to come out. So while my first one was really not that sweet, by the second one, I actually picked up way more of the blood orange. And
Okay, I'm curious to see that. I'm doing something different this week with the beer. Before I, just like yourself, I had a couple, not a, I had a couple of my house beers. This week, I decided just to drink this beer. I wanted to taste it, see how it tastes, comment on how it tastes, and then actually, with 30 minutes down the line, let you guys know actually the effect of it, how it makes me feel. I have a pretty high tolerance, so I'll be able to judge it very well. Just having 4 of these beers, so I'll be curious to see what it does to me, how it makes me feel.
Well, I just had my first sip, and I've had this before, but it's been a while, and it's very drinkable. I think I was the one that kind of pushed it last week. Hey, let's have it because I know it's a good beer. Um, I pretty much every orange blood orange beer that I've had is pretty good tasting, and this one is really good. Uh, um, I wanted to ask John and Ty, did you drink it straight from the can or bottle that you bought it from, or did you get a mug? And me myself, I got a mug straight out of the freezer.
I just got it from the bottle, cracked the bottle open. Excuse me, the can, and yeah, just straight out the can like I do a normal beer. I have mugs, but I rarely use them. I drink too fast, to be honest. Doesn't really matter. Really good. I like cans myself. I probably prefer them. Yeah, I would say I prefer cans over bottles just because I don't know. I think feel it's a little bit more crisp, a little bit more refreshing in my opinion. And yeah, it's a really good beer. I'm almost done with this first one already. And yeah, I'd buy it again. I think I don't want to say I like it better than the Contact Haze, but being my first beer, but I think going into my second and third one, I think I'm going to enjoy this a lot more. And I did like the Contact Haze, but this is a great beer. I'd love to order this on draft in a big, nice, frosty 32.
Yeah, and some places give you that orange peel. John, did you have it straight from the can or the mug?
I'm with you, Ray. I keep my line of frozen pint glasses in the freezer, so I'm definitely a mug or a pint glass guy.
Okay, so how many do you keep in the freezer?
I keep 6.
Wow. Okay.
Well, 20 years in the food service industry, you end up collecting a lot of pint glasses over the years, you know.
All right, so I thought it'd be cool to see if we can get some audience participation by emojis, and let's see if you can do the clap emoji if you've ever had a blood orange beer. All right, so maybe they haven't had a blood orange beer, so we haven't really finalized the rating system, which is something we could work on, but I'm going to give this one just until we come up with a rating system, a thumbs up.
I second that. This definitely gets a big enthusiastic thumbs up.
I give it 3 frosty mugs out of.
Nice. I like that.
I like that. But then that goes into that debate. Do you use a mug or not mug? So
mug.
I have several mugs, no pints, I believe, because I think I'm a go big or go home kind of guy. So that's probably better for me. I can just fill up a couple of these cans next time and have my nice big Frosty 32 ready to go. So I would definitely do that next time. Got to follow suit, right?
Right. Ty, I'm going to be really interested to think about to hear what you think about the space dust whenever you make your.
I'm thinking about 850. I'll let you know today.
Well, that is a great segue actually into my next question that I was thinking. And so we have a couple options here. We could next show go completely into a new beer and just leave the Elysian beer. However, we've already done Contact Haze, and this week we're doing Superfuzz. So we do have the option to kind of try and finish off the series and then move on, or we could jump to a new beer. What do you think, Ty?
Good question, Ray. I have a couple of leads. I won't talk about them because I don't have the information right now on this one in particular. I will kind of give you a hint. I was talking to a coworker that lives in Long Beach, born and raised, and he was telling me about this beer from a new company that's going to come out in the next couple of weeks, a new brewery, a black-owned brewery, and the name escapes me at the moment, but I'll have more information later. I'm just kind of interested. Oh, black-owned brewery, you don't hear about that too often. One, and he says they have really good beers, and they have a beer locator website. So I'm going to check it out, see if we can't find one near us for maybe in a month. Because in the next couple of weeks, I wanted your opinion. As I was looking in my beer cave today at my local liquor store, I saw that Claremont has several beers from a couple of different breweries in the Claremont area. John, Claremont's like a couple of cities over from us. It's actually, Ray, you're closer to me, closer to Claremont than I am right now, but it's pretty close to us. And I've never had a Claremont brew, so I was thinking maybe we should keep it California, keep it local, and try one of those in the next 2 weeks and try to get John some since we have 2 weeks to do it.
Well, that actually, see, that could be interesting because you guys are in California, right?
Correct.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be out there in California from the 4th to the 9th, so I might be able to track some down and ship it back for myself. But Ty, out of curiosity, what are some of the breweries that come from Claremont? Any that come to mind?
Yeah, one of them is there's like 6 of them that I saw. 2 of them, one of the beer I saw was from the Claremont Brewery. It's called. Ray, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it's called the Claremont Brewery. Let me see.
So let me tell you about my experience there. There's a lot of good little breweries. I've had plenty of different Claremont beers. They have this grapefruit beer. I'm not a fan of the actual grapefruit, but the grapefruit beer is excellent. They even have like this peaches and pepper beer, which is good. And the Pomona, I think it's called Pomona Queen, is good as well. These are all local for everyone listening in. These are local breweries in Southern California, basically in like the greater Los Angeles area. And then Hanger is not too far from here. That's another good local kind of beer. You see it in a lot of the bars over here.
Yeah.
But there's so many bars or little breweries popping out. And yeah, Ty, if you can get that black-owned brewery, that's definitely cool to try out, because you actually, since until you mentioned it, I've never really even heard of that, or it didn't even cross my mind. But I'm sure that has to be out there.
Same. Okay, just for FYI, it's called the Claremont Craft Ales. That's the company that I was looking at, and it looks like they have some pretty good stuff. Let me see if I can get there. Have you been to that brewery itself, Ray?
Yes, and so I go running, a lot as well, for everyone listening in, and I run with different running groups. In California, in Southern California, I would say maybe about 15 years ago, 20 years ago, it could be longer, but running clubs kind of started popping up here and there, and pretty much they were in the Los Angeles, like downtown area, and now they've kind of spread out. So now in Claremont, which is kind of closer going towards like Palm Springs, if people know where that's at. Not all the way over there, but on the way. So there's a running group out there called Claremont Trotters, and I hope to have the president out here soon, Christina. And basically, we go from a bunch of breweries to breweries running, and it's a really fun activity for a bunch of people. And we've gone to all those breweries that you're looking at when you Google it, but I couldn't tell you any of the names or any of the beers I drank, because when you're running and you drink a beer before you start, and then you drink a beer when you get there, and then you run to another bar and you drink a beer, and it's like hot, and then you run to another bar and drink a beer. And by the time you get to the last bar and you drink another beer, you forget the names of the beers you actually tasted. Good times, but you forget the name. So I couldn't tell you of the beers that I actually had when I went there. Although there is one called Double D's. See, I'm going to look it up now and tell you specifically.
I think there was one called like Dragon Spit or something cool like that. I was like, I have to go there. This is a cool name. Something cool like that. You'll know when you see it. But as far as the Claremont Brewing Company, Claremont Craft Ale, excuse me, they have a interesting beers. There's one called the Parade. It's a West Coast IPA with Galaxy and Cashmere 6.2. That sounds interesting. What is the one I saw? Yeah, I had the City of Trees. There's a double IPA with Yukonat and Mosaic hops. That's 8.8. They have a Sweet Nothings, a Belgian blonde with lemon verbena. That sounds pretty cool. Where was that one I saw? Oh, yeah, the triple IPA with Mosaic as a 10.2 alcohol beverage volume. I'm not familiar with Mosaic, John. Can you maybe expand on what that is or what taste that brings out? Am I saying it wrong? Mosaic.
Mosaic.
That sounds right.
I'm sorry, I missed the words leading up to that, Ty. I broke out for just a second there. What was that?
There was a couple with Mosaic. The first one was City of Trees. That was a double IPA with Yukonat and Mosaic hops. And the second one with Mosaic is a triple IPA with Mosaic.
Oh, okay.
And that's 10.2.
Yeah, it's just it's a different kind of hops. That's actually one that I personally have not messed around with in my home brewing, so I can't really tell you too much about what that one in particular does, but I will definitely do some research on it.
Awesome.
I will say, if you guys end up pinning down the next beer that you want to review on here, if you can nail it down while I'm still in California, then I just checked the laws. I should be able to bring a 6-pack with me in my suitcase, so long as I'm not drinking it on the plane.
Very nice. You could drink before you get on the plane and then have your 6-pack ready to go.
Boom.
So I had to Google, and I had to use Jamie. And Jamie told me that Peppers and Peaches, which is also by the Claremont Brewery Company, it's 6.7, and it's an IPA, peaches, and pink peppercorns, which I'm not even sure what that is. Huh. And the other one that I've had, that I have a lot actually, and I didn't even know it was an 8.8. It's the Grapefruit Ipa, and it's a double IPA with grapefruit, and it's really good. I've had it in the can, and it's usually, I think, a 16 ounces, a pint that they sell. And recently there is a bar that I found that has it on tap. And so I've had it on tap, and it is actually somewhere in Claremont, which is very refreshing. And if they want to go ahead and sponsor, I'll be more than happy to drop their name in the future.
second.
Aha! I see what you did there. You know what? I've really come to appreciate the grapefruit IPAs that have been rolling out in the last few years. When they first came out, I always kind of looked at it as kind of like another beer fad. Here we go. But eventually, I ended up coming across some that just knocked it out of the park. And if that balance is right, like I often find those IPAs to be less bitter from the hops, and the bitterness actually ends up coming from the pith of the grapefruit that they throw into the brew. And it's a little less of an intense bitterness, and I think a little bit more well balanced. But Ray, my head is reeling over this peaches and peppercorn thing. Can you tell me about this? Have you?
Yes, I have had it. There's a good restaurants out here, and well, you got to go to in the Claremont area, Laverne, even the downtown Pomona area. Some of the areas in Pomona, I got to be honest, they could be sketchy. I mean, it could be 7 in the morning and you see hookers just, I'm sorry, self-employed models. It's 2021. Let me be politically correct. Just out of, when you're putting gas. So there, you got to go to the downtown area, and they got some nice restaurants, and you can find these Claremont ales. But if not, you can go directly to it and get it. And as I mentioned, a couple bars that I went to have now it on tap. So it's becoming more available. And that one I've only seen it actually in a couple places, so it's not that available everywhere. But as far as flavor, it's not strong like a bitter at all. And for being a 6.7, I would have thought it would have been way less alcohol, because it tastes refreshing, kind of like the orange, the blood orange here. It's very refreshing.
You don't take the hint of the peppercorn?
That was going to be my next question. Yeah, does a peppercorn?
It does have a little hint of it, So it's a very good beer. It's a very good beer, and we could do that one next. Anyways, if you like that one, seems to have people's interest. I think it's good, and it's a 6.7. And if we do hop to different beers, then since you got the variety pack, Ty, we could actually open up a different beer and kind of give it the review.
Yeah, since if we're going to leave Elysian, we might as well give them their just due and try this one. You guys were talking about it a couple weeks ago, and I'm curious about it. Yeah, let me speed up this 4 beers I have. Then let me go ahead and finish my 3rd and 4th, and then I want to give them the 4 their proper respect, and then we can do that. Sorry, I'm looking. I'm up here. I found out the name of the black-owned brewery. It's called Crowns and Hops, and that's out of Inglewood, not South Central.
Oh wow, okay.
So I'll see how obtainable these beers will be in the future, and we'll talk about that later. John, did you mentioned you're going to be in California, but you said you're going up north, correct?
Yeah, but I mean, chances are, if it's a California brewery, you'll probably be able to find it in numerous places, and I'm going to be doing quite a stretch from Bay Area all the way up to wine country. So I'll keep my eyes peeled for whatever you guys are. And if I can't find one, then I'll find a good East Coast counterpart to contrast and compare.
No, I don't think we have to do that. We can ship them over to you.
I think that'll be fascinating as the show grows to see what's available. As far as local breweries and how far they reach nationwide.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that would be a blast to dive into. Now, Ty, I certainly appreciate that, but I did just look into the rules, and you can't really ship beer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. As soon as this conversation started, as a matter of fact, I took a look into it, and USPS, FedEx, all UPS, none of them will do it. If you want to risk it and try to get away with it, worst thing they can do is toss it out or send it back to you. But yeah, since I'm coming out to California, if you guys try to nail down a brewery or two or there that you want to touch on, then I can see if I can.
Sure, that's not a problem. There's just so many breweries out here. Just so, yeah. I'm just not sure how obtainable they would be. But how do the beer guys, like craft beer guys, do their trading? It's through like a a middleman? And why couldn't we do it that way?
I mean, beyond professional distributorship, I would probably have to do some homework on that to answer honestly. I'm not.
Okay. Yeah, we'll look into it. Not a problem.
But I'm telling you, like Ray, this whole peaches and peppercorn thing, I can't get out of my head. I got to track this stuff down.
Oh no, that's yes, that's a very good beer. I think we should select that one, and I'm pretty sure that there are laws and regulations as far as shipping beer and all that. Although I could be wrong, and as I mentioned, I'm not. Well, I'm going to Google it before I mention it, but I believe one of the former presidents and their family made their money off shipping alcohol, basically underground.
Oh yeah, that's John F. Kennedy for sure.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to black out my headlights and invest in some night vision goggles, and I'll start doing the whole midnight run over to California and start running beer back and forth between the coasts.
Well, I think we should keep this in the green room, guys.
All right, so are we going to select the Pepper and Peaches beer, which is an IPA, and it's peaches and pink peppercorns, and it's a 6.7 alcohol. It is by a brewery called Claremont Craft Ales, and they are located in the city of Claremont in California. I might as well just give them a pitch since we're talking about them. But yes, if we select that beer, it's local to both of us, and since John's coming out to California, he can grab that as well. And they actually have quite a few here. They have I'm on their website. They have one called The Norm, which is a cream ale, and it's 4.6. Then they have the pineapple guava, which is a Goose, and it's 5.5. They have a Robbie, and that is a Oak Fort Red Ale, and that is a 6.5. They have that Grapefruit IPA, which is a double IPA, as I mentioned, and that one I've had, and that one's an 8.8. The Indian Hill, I'm not sure if I've had that one. Oh, probably not, because it's only a 4.8, but it says it's a small IPA. They also have one that's called the Raspberry Goose, and that one is a 5.5. They have quite a few, so I'm going to go through it a little bit quicker. They have one called Happy Days, and that one is a 9.5. So that is an Imperial Red Ale. We actually have not really touched on red ales or any red beers. I'm not a huge fan of the red beers. How about you, Ty?
I am not a fan of the red beers in particular. We did talk about red beers a couple weeks ago. Was that in the green room? I'm not sure, John, but we talked about the Killian's Red, correct?
Yeah, that's actually my family. So I come from George Killian, and I understand your disdain for red ales. I'm not fond of them either, and my testament to that is if I were to make a small batch of the original Killian's Red recipe, it would knock your socks off. But don't buy that stuff in the bottle. Absolutely.
Sounds like we need to try yours. So we talked about it already. So you do it a few times a year, you said, right?
Yeah, usually.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know, please.
So for anyone just hopping into the audience, we are reviewing a beer today. My name is Coach Ray Z with my other co-host Ty. So we're both the hosts, I guess. We're not really both co-hosts, but we're co-hosts if you understand what I'm saying. And today we are reviewing a beer called Superfuzz Blood Orange Pale Ale by a brewery called Elysian. And this is our second show, so welcome everybody. If anyone has ever drank blood orange beer, you can give a clap if you like those type of beers, or if you'd like to come up here and let us know your experience of what you think of it. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Is this a type of beer that you would drink? Me and Ty bought a variety pack, so we're actually going to be trying a different beer from this one. This is his first time trying it, and John loves it. Pretty much every blood orange pale ale I've had is very tasty. And so anyone in the audience is more than welcome to come on up and let us know what they think. If not, from the variety pack, Ty, which one are you eyeballing next?
Well, since we tried the contact haze a few weeks ago, I'm eyeballing that space dust. You guys talked about it. You guys held it in high regard, and I'm ready. I'm on my third super fuzz, by the way, and it's a nice little fuzzy buzz. And this is my third beer. You know how I drink, Ray. So that's pretty impressive. It's for what is it, 6.4? Not bad at all. Really good taste, really good flavor, nice head change. I'm a fan.
And also, for everyone just who hopped in, we want to make sure that we're just not basically just promoting drunkenness, even though our show is called Drunks. If you notice, run is highlighted, so you have to earn your beer. You go, you work out, whatever it is you do, you run. Me and Ty are both runners. And then John, he likes to cycle. And there's nothing like, going out with your people you train with after whatever it is you do, play basketball, do jujitsu, boxing, go run, and you go have a beer and just kind of catch up and chit chat with life. Me and Ty have been friends since, I don't know, maybe third grade. And, we don't really have as much time to hang out. So this show right here is a great way for us to kind of catch up. He works like 90 plus hours. He's a family man. And so everyone deserves a beer. Everyone should have a balanced life. A lot of people always feel guilty for just having a beer, but there's nothing wrong with that as long as you just don't become an alcoholic. And you shouldn't be drinking by yourself at home every single night. That is not a good path. And so we're just kind of encouraging balanced drinking, and you got to earn your beer.
Yes, I agree with a lot of that. I do. But if you say do your 5 mile bike ride every day or your 6 mile run or 8 mile run, did you do 11 miles today, Ray? Did I see that on
No,
Instagram?
that was yesterday.
That was yesterday. Yeah, you do that and you do that every day and you're by yourself. Think you should be able to have a drink by yourself every day. But that's just me.
Oh, I agree. But now, then if you're doing that every day, then it's kind of more like, are you trying to hit peak performance? Because you're not going to be trained. It's either you really love to train, you're kind of like and I don't mean this in a bad way, but like crazy, like Goggins, who's just like working out every day nonstop. You wake up, I mean, I've been following that guy since before he got famous. And, he as far as the military, one of the commercials he has for the Navy, he runs to work at 5 a.m. and he runs like 15 miles. And then after the 15 miles during his lunch, he runs again. And then he runs home. And then he's like, and then if I'm not too tired, then I'll work out again. And so if you're doing all that, you're probably not drinking every day either, though. Although I feel that, yes, it's well deserved. And let's see here. Phil just mentioned that only 3 mile run this morning, but I'm also with colleagues, and so not drinking myself, whiskey, not beer though. So I do enjoy alcohol. Overall, probably my least favorite is vodka, because when I drink vodka, Frank the Tank comes out, and I just don't remember what happened. So I stay away from vodka.
That's interesting because vodka is that subtle one that even, petite women drink, regularly and kind of, and can hang with. Usually Frank the Tank comes out with tequila or whiskey. So that's interesting. Just everybody's different, right? Everybody's chemistry is different.
Oh yeah, for me, maybe it's the Mexican American in me that since the plants grown in Mexico, tequila, that's probably my preferred. Although recently I've tried some of those infused, I don't know what they have, like steam coming out of them, whiskeys, and the more you kind of let it marinate and melt, the flavors keep coming out. Kind of like this orange beer, you can kind of taste that orange the more you kind of let it like simmer.
Yeah, so is that starting to show up in the palate a little bit more for you guys since you've been drinking it for a little bit now?
It definitely does. I'm definitely tasting the flavor of it more. Before it was just a good drinkable beer, but now I'm starting to taste the craftsmanship of it all. It's really
still
good.
Not overly sweet, but the orange flavors definitely do show up the more you're.
Yeah, it's a nice beer. I'm a fan. I would get this. I wish they had it in a 12 pack. I'd get it by itself. Well, actually, I don't know that yet. I haven't tried the Space Dust yet. Should we move on to that?
I've had it before, but yes, I'm definitely interested because I know you haven't, and you're eager to try it, and I'm more than happy to taste it with you as well and give you a virtual toast. And Phil said he's having some Buffalo Trace tonight. So cheers.
Cheers to Phil.
Cheers to Phil. You know what? I've heard of Buffalo Trace, Phil. That's I believe that's the one Joe Rogan had it on. The guy that made it on his podcast. I believe that's the oldest whiskey in America that like predates Jack Daniels. I believe that's the one, and I heard it's really good. Am I right with that?
It is not bad. Like I am a diehard bourbon and whiskey fan. I really am. It's probably the Irishman in me, but I Buffalo Trace is good. Upper mid-level bourbon, I would say. But I'm also, while I might not necessarily be a beer snob, I am most definitely a bourbon snob. So
Okay, so do you know if that's the first? If that's what I'm thinking of, is that the first whiskey company in America?
I know it is one of the oldest, but I'm going to have to do some research to make sure that it's actually the oldest because I think that might be debatable.
Okay, it could be, but it has to be. It's one of them.
Yeah, most definitely. They've been around for a while.
I'm gonna.
It's weird to see them pop up the way that they are right now because they were kind of like on the back burner for quite a while. You just never really heard anything about Buffalo Trace. In the last 7 years or so, they've been making a hell.
You probably hate me for saying this, but it's probably Joe Rogan. He talks about it quite a lot, and he has millions of followers. And
Who?
yeah, just Joe Rogan.
No, I'm joking. Just who?
Oh yeah. Okay, Jamie, you have all the jokes now, huh?
Waka waka waka.
Okay, I'm ready for. Okay, John, you said this Space Dust is a beer that is one of your house beers,
Yes,
correct?
and I love
Yeah.
that you're bringing that up because I also have that in my fridge right now. So I'm going to go grab one of those and join you.
Let's do it. Ray, you have one as well. You might as well.
I will. While you guys are doing that, I'm gonna just let the audience know a little bit about this beer.
Cool.
So I could be wrong, but I'll double check. This is probably the strongest beer that they have. It's a 8.2. Oh wow! And tonight we found out that IBU is like a basically bitterness units, and so this one's on 73, so it's pretty bitter. It's an Indian Pale Ale. It's a Space Dust balanced bitterness with a sweetness of hop flavors, grapefruit, mango, and orange aromas with a medium body and a dry finish. And I'm getting all this information from their website. According to the website, the body's medium, and it is available in 22 ounces, 6-pack bottles, 12-pack bottles, 6-pack cans, 12-pack cans, 19.2 ounce cans, a keg, or half a keg, and then a full keg. And this one is pretty available. I can go to any liquor store, even 7-Eleven, at least over here in Southern California, and you see it. It's pretty strong, and it's for how strong it is and the quality. They sell it pretty cheap, actually. If you even go into a 7-Eleven, it's like $3.29.
Yeah, I know this 12 pack variety pack was, I believe, $20 out the door or something like that. Yeah, not bad at all.
Okay, so where did you buy the variety pack?
I bought it at a local liquor store, so that's a markup. So I'm sure Walmart would have it for what, $4 cheaper, $5 cheaper.
So I actually bought it at Walmart, and it was $19.95 as well.
Oh, really? So it's comparable.
Okay, that's a good price then for a variety pack, because usually a 6-pack would be like at a liquor store $15 roughly, 16.
Okay, I tried my first drink of this Space Dust. Let me try another one.
You're probably going to need a minute for your palate to adjust after that Superfuzz, to be honest.
Yeah, because I just taste they taste similar to me right now.
Wow, that's interesting. I can clearly taste the differences as far as bitterness, between the orange and the Space Dust IPA.
Yeah, the orange is out of the equation. Definitely more hoppy.
The spaceless is more
Drinkable.
hoppy, right?
It's definitely a little more hoppy, but just like the other one, like if you give it like halfway down that first beer, and your palate will adjust, and you're going to pick up all sorts of different flavor nodes and profiles in it. Like me personally, and I know that not everybody's palate is the same, but I tend to pick up like this really subtle hint of caramel in it. But it takes a while for that to start to show up.
Okay. Yeah. Let me try it again.
That's interesting. According to their tasty notes, they don't mention caramel. They mention grapefruit, mango, orange. Well, just aromas. So when they say aromas, does that mean that they actually have those flavors in the beer?
Yeah, so they're actually throwing in like citrus rinds or zest, or even like hunks of fruit, occasionally a little bit of juice. It really depends on the particular brewery and what their particular method is. But the caramel flavor that I'm getting from it is actually coming from the grains and the hops, not from the fruits involved in it. So there's a maltiness to it on the back end that I really pick up, kind of like in the back of my mouth, like as my tongue starts to go down my throat. It's really, really subtle. But after I have like one or two of those, all I can taste is the sweetness of it. And it's, again, it's not like a fruit sweetness. It's like almost a burnt sugar caramel type.
Got you. I definitely taste that. It's a great description, John. That I definitely taste that.
It's subtle. It's subtle, but it's there.
So I might mispronounce some of these, but according to their website, the hops, it says it's a chia hook, citra, and armorio, and their malts is pale C15, which I have no idea what that is. Sounds like something you make a weapon out of, and dextra pills.
That's it. It's all Mandarin to me. I'm confused with the amarillo. Amarillo's Spanish for in Spanish amarillo means yellow. So what is amarillo? What are they talking about? Is this a spice?
That's one of the hops, right?
Yes, it's one of the hops.
Okay. It's just a yellow hop, I assume.
Yeah.
That's where John comes in.
Yeah, no, it's right. Hops are hops, but you have like 400 different variety of them. It's like finding potatoes in Peru, of which there are 5,000, by the way. But each different type of hop, and each method of malt or malt ingredient that you add in adds a completely unique and different flavor. And even then, it becomes a kind of a science of like pairing them up with different combinations in order to create a unique bouquet or a unique flavor profile. So it's kind of trial and error, which is why most breweries end up dumping out a whole lot of stuff for mad scientist experiments. But I'm actually trying to do some research here as well, and trying to figure out what it is that's causing that caramel back end flavor that I was talking about. So give.
And really, for the IBU scale that they're giving it of 73, it's not really all that bitter as you would think. Some people are really a big fan of sour beers. I'm not a fan of sour beers at all.
Oh yeah,
Same.
However, even though this is bitter, and you would think it bitter and sour is kind of the same thing, it's not. I'd rather have the bitter taste than the sour taste.
I wonder if there's a sour that a subtle, like a medium sour that we would enjoy, that we could actually use on the show. If anyone has any recommendations out there, that'd be great.
Yes, that's a great idea. I've actually I've had one sour that it was not bad, but it could have been that we were tasting different beers. So by the time I drank that one, I was like, "Oh, this is pretty good." But normally, when I start off with a sour beer, it's not my palate at all.
I have a question for you, Ray. I was thinking about this on my run. I know you're doing your triple marathon coming up. Is that next weekend?
Oh no, I that's not till October.
Oh, it's October.
So I have a month and a half of training.
Oh wow, you're training pretty hard right now. I thought you were in the last stages of it. So I think that I could still ask this question. I was kind of curious since I never ran 3 marathons in a row. I've never ran 2 marathons in a row. I was with you in 2019 for the your second marathon, my first marathon. Actually, my welcome back marathon. Right, I took a few years off to start my family. I believe my one prior to that was 2012. I believe. Yeah, so I remember you doing your second marathon in 2019. So I know how you prepared then because I got you drunk. But how do you prepare for this one carb wise, carb loading? Do you do a normal carb load all 3 days? How's your beer intake, or do you plan it? Like, do you just kind of go with the flow? What's your formula? What are you going to do this time around versus last time around?
All right, so I'm going to give a little background for the listeners. When I first started running, it was more like a just can I do it? The first run. And then after I accomplished that, it was like more kind of a party thing. And so me and Ty did a few marathons together where we would just go explore new cities or different places where we haven't really been to and drink. And then we'd go run a marathon. So there's a name for that now. I forget what they call it. It's like frat running or something like that, which,
We didn't even know, huh?
yeah,
We
were
just
like,
did it.
we were probably creating it back then. And then as you go along the fitness journey, you're like, well, what happens if I don't drink? Or you start learning about your body in different ways. But if it wasn't for actually, drinking and going out and having a good time and exploring places, I probably wouldn't have not gotten as much into fitness. So it was a blessing. And back then I didn't know anything. I had no idea how to train properly. Everything I did was wrong. I would go eat buffet the night before, which is completely what you should not do. And there's one conception about like carb loading where people think that you should just like carb load the night before. But in reality, that's not the way you should do it. You should be carb loading like maybe 3 weeks before because it takes your body a while to be able to get used to. If you're going with that option of carb loading, there's different options where if you want to burn the fat and then stay away from the carbs, you can run a marathon that way too. But for me right now, it's more just physically getting my ligaments and tendons strong. That's what I'm focusing on. And as far as the drinking, I've reduced it. And then um, as far as if I'm going to drink the night before, I did it in 2019. And I kind of always do it just because I've always thought of myself as the average Joe. And I hate it when people tell me, well, I like to drink beer, so I can't work out. Well, I like to drink beer too, but you could do it. And I hate it when people use that as an excuse. So I kind of, even though I want to really have a really, really good time, I kind of want to do it at the same time just to, when people tell me that, well, yeah, you don't have to go out and run a marathon in 3 days and run around Lake Tahoe, but don't give me that, well, I like to drink, so I can't work out.
Everything in
Yeah,
moderation.
that's funny you say that. I heard someone tell me that tell me a couple weeks ago or something. We were going through a heat wave in California. At least we were a few weeks ago, and they were making it for not working out. This is what they said. They said, "Oh no, I would go to the gym, but I can't go to the gym. It's way too hot." Serious. The gym? That's like saying, "No, I can't go to the movie theater. It's too fucking hot." Excuse my French. I'm like, what? What do you mean? Gym is like the coolest place on the planet. There is no excuses, basically. That's interesting, though, Ray. I didn't know that you had an epiphany about carb loading the night before, or obtained more knowledge on that. I had no idea. I always thought that was a plus. For me, I always chose carb loading in the form of alcohol or beer, excuse me, just because my first, for a marathon, my first 12 miles, I don't even feel it. So the wall, it's not even a thing. By the time I actually feel it, I'm on mile 18. But by the time you're on mile 18, um, mentally you're like, good, I got this. It's done, right? It's over. So that's interesting. That the carbs actually, I wouldn't. I could skip the spaghetti as long as I have enough beer the night before. But I'd be interested to see if that works. So do you do more veggie style, or do you recommend a ketogenic diet like a week prior, or a intermittent fasting, something like that, something more specific?
I don't recommend doing anything a week prior. It takes, months for your body to get accustomed to it. And I don't recommend you accustoming your body to anything that you don't feel. Growing up, I always never liked to eat breakfast, and my mom always used to tell me, "Eat something; it's good for you, mijo. Get some juice, get this, get that." As I got older, I realized, well, juice, that's sugar, that's pure sugar, and then bread in the morning, some toast, that turns into pure sugar. So I'm like, I always felt better when I would just go work out or run like by myself and then not eat in between hours. And as I got older, I figured out, oh, this is popular now. It's called intermittent fasting, but that's the way my body has always felt. I just never knew that's what it was called, you know? And so I've kind of been like that since I was young. I just never realized that there was a term. And so you should just kind of feel out your body. I've mentioned it maybe on my other show, but I'm a huge fan of Bruce Lee, and Bruce Lee always says, take it what's useful and disregard what isn't. And so take what's useful for your body, see how it feels, try it out. And also, as you get older, because it was useful in your 20s or 30s doesn't mean it will be in your 40s, 50s, 60s. Your body will change, what you can eat and when you could stomach will all change. Because I know I definitely can't stomach all the gels like I used to in my stomach when running a marathon. I need a variety of food to kind of keep me going. I just can't do all gels or I feel sick by the end.
That's interesting. I could never stomach gels like that. It would just stay in my mouth for a long time. I did find that I believe it's the blocks, they're watermelon ones. It's pretty cool. I can just keep it in my mouth and be okay. But on the long run like that, I always find that the bananas are a must, and the beer at mile 12, along with the water, obviously. But I actually tend to not drink a lot of water until maybe mile 18. So there's a lot. And you talk about intermittent fasting, Ray, and that's kind of where I'm at today. I love what intermittent fasting does. I do when I'm at work, and I work, as Ray said, I work a lot. So 4 or 5 times a week, I do 12-hour shifts, if not more. And I always intermittent fast when I work, and I'm on a 420 now, which is a 4-hour window of eating and 20 hours off. And in that 4 hours, I get I get a salad on, I get a yogurt and a really good meal, whether it's a healthy meal or a fat, wet burrito. It doesn't really matter. And I feel great. I have enough energy for my run in the morning or whatever my schedule is. Whenever I get my run, I try to do it daily if possible. And that's a great way. That's kind of like how you were just built like that. But it's worked wonders for me. I mean, I believe it's the way to go. And I actually want to try this on our next marathon, which is our next marathon together is the Great LA Marathon, correct?
I was just about to mention that. Did you sign up for Los Angeles Marathon 2021?
I said I would, and I will. I'll do it tonight.
All right, great. So there it is, everybody listening in. Ty has committed to running the 2021 Los Angeles Marathon on November 7th.
Can we let people know how cool it is? Yeah, because it's okay. It's a stadium.
Where was
Stadium 50 marathon. It starts off at Dodger Stadium and ends at Santa Monica Beach. One of the coolest beaches we have here.
Sorry to interrupt you, but
yeah, go ahead, bro.
They changed the ending. But
oh, did they?
Yeah, and before I tell you the ending, when was the last time you ran LA Marathon?
The last time I ran LA Marathon was 2012. I ran that stadium to sea marathon with 4 years in a row, I believe, and 2 prior. And I like the other 2 prior. Remember, it was Universal Studios it when you go through like South Central and Chinatown and all that, and that was cool too. But there's nothing like getting dropped off half drunk at Dodger Stadium at 6 in the morning and running to Santa Monica Pier. So I'm curious. It's awesome.
Ow.
Being a Dodger fan, being a Dodger fanatic, it's just a great thing to do. And being just a lover of LA culture, it's awesome just to run through the city like that. But Ray, where does it end?
Yes, for people who are not from LA, because I know we have some people from listening in from far away. In Los Angeles, we're a melting pot. We have a variety of different nationalities, which is great. And so when you run Los Angeles Marathon, you run through pretty much every culture, every diversity from Jewish to Black, Mexican, Salvadoranian. You have the gay population, West Hollywood, and they're all out there supporting you, cheering you on the whole way. And so you used to run through like the major, for 10 years, they had the route called Stadium to the Sea. The Los Angeles Marathon started, I believe, in 1984 when the Olympics came here.
Yes.
And then after that, they had the LA Marathon each year. And each year, they would roughly change the course about every 2 years up until they did the Stadium to the Sea, which started in Dodger Stadium. You go through the Disney Town Hall, Chinatown. Then you kind of go down Hollywood into the fancy schmancy Beverly Hills, Rodeo Drive, into Culver City, and then you end in Santa Monica Beach. And it was like that for like 10 years. Unfortunately, this year, Santa Monica didn't want to give them the permits. They couldn't work it out. So now you're kind of running back and you're ending in Culver City.
Really?
And, so in the future, I'm going to talk about this in my show. I'm not a huge fan of the way the way the LA Marathon keeps getting sold from company to company, big company to company, and they don't care about the runners. I still have not received my shirt that I paid $200 last year for an entry, and I've sent them a message and they have not responded. But overall, I'm going to keep doing that race till the day I die because I'm from LA and I got love for the city and it's a positive thing. And I just love the energy and you really have to experience it once in your lifetime just to kind of know what I'm talking about. It's like the New York Marathon, the Boston Marathon. It's just something you kind of got to do. And even if you only do one marathon once in your life, United States has roughly about 576 marathons per year, and only 0.05% of the population has ever run one. And I want to say out of that 0.05%, it's probably about half of those are repeat offenders that keep running it like me, who has 54 marathons under their belt. So you got to try it once. Once you accomplish it, you're like, well, if I could do this, what else could I do? So just even considering something like that, or even a half marathon, opens up new pathways in your brain that you've never considered.
Yeah, well said. Well said, Ray. And if that doesn't make you want to run the LA Marathon, think about it. It's LA. So we have a lot of celebrities that run it nowadays, right? We have Kevin Hart's a runner. Who else does it? There's
the chef guy, the guy who likes to yell at people.
Oh, yeah, Gordon Ramsay.
And his time is actually
I heard
he's respectable.
A sub 4?
Oh yeah, sub 4. I believe one of the Chili Peppers has done it. I always see
Fleet, I believe, right?
The Dodger, the redheaded guy. What's his name? His wife.
Oh, yes, his wife's a avid runner. My boy, Justin Turner. Justin Turner's wife.
So Justin Turner, I ran into him last year on Hollywood Boulevard. I got a GoPro. I was like, hey, what's up? And this is during the marathon. He was waiting for his wife, and he was really nice. I got to talk to him, like take a picture with him. This is while running the LA Marathon. I'm like, oh, I recognize that guy. He was standing out right there on Hollywood Boulevard.
So cool. He probably had a beer in his hand.
No, he didn't.
Oh.
Well, so, okay. What beer are we going to go with next week? or our next show actually, because we do this every 2 weeks because Ty works so much. So this show is every 2 weeks. We're going to let the audience know what beer we're going to select. And we're in California, so some of the beer you may not be able to get in your area. I know we have some listeners from worldwide, like John, who I believe is in Australia. So thank you for joining in. And
Oh, nice.
I don't know if he would have access to this beer, or even if he likes beer. So what beer are we going with next?
Aren't we doing that apricot peach, or excuse me, the peach
Okay.
peppercorn thing?
Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
So
What is the name of that beer? I know it's from the Claremont Craft Ales. What is the name?
Pepper and Peaches.
Pepper and Peaches.
Yeah,
Correct.
I just looked it up.
So if you're outside of Southern California, this may be a beer that's hard to obtain. You never know, though. You can go to their website and see what kind of options they have.
Yeah, and just good for John being a chef. Audience doesn't know this, but we know this. Claremont is a great little, cute little city in the outer LA. That's a culinary little gem with a lot of breweries, a lot of good food, and a lot of cool people. You'd love it.
It's actually pretty fancy schmancy. There's no fast food restaurants in the city.
That's very true.
I'm actually
is this a Pinkies Out kind of place? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, it's very bourgeois. It's funny. It's very bourgeois, but they're next to Pomona, which is probably one of the biggest hood cities around us.
So, Ty, Ray, I'm gonna slide off of here and let you guys wrap up. But a couple of things before I go. One, as always, thank you for letting me hop up here and talk beer with you guys, because I absolutely love it. But to resolve the mystery, it is the Citra and Emerio hops that cause that caramel flavor on the back end of Space Dust. It's the combination of those two and a mild bit of oxidation of the beer in the process that causes that semi-sweet, almost like burnt sugar flavor just on the back end of your throat. Now, I'm curious, Ty, now that you've had a few more sips of it, what are you thinking of it now?
I was just gonna tell you, I'm gonna put it this way. It's 9:00. I wake up for work at 3 a.m. and I am done.
Yeah,
that is a good beer. I had one more of the Superfuzz, and I'm gonna save it because I am good.
Space Dust will take you to space, man.
I'm good. I'm gonna say goodnight to my kids. Say goodnight to my wife. Wrap it up correctly.
All right. Good night, my friends. I'm gonna slide off of here and let you go.
All right. Thank you once again, John, for joining us. And
thank you for everything, John.
Now that John mentioned it, I could kind of actually taste that caramel flavor. I've never really tried describing Space Dust before, so maybe I've never really thought of it in that context. But I'm learning as I go along. I've always liked watching the Food Network when they describe food and they describe words that I never normally use, like, oh, it's a very Jeanette-less flavor. I'm like, okay, fancy schmancy for me. Yeah. But thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to do the show, Ty. Thank you for
my pleasure, bro. I love what we're doing here, man. I love what we're doing here. I can't wait for this peppercorns. I'm a little not as curious as I am a little scared, but it sounds interesting, and I'm down to try new stuff. And like you said, yeah, this is all new to me as far as actually giving it the time to taste and understand the spices and all the craftsmanship that goes into these craft beers. It's an interesting journey, and I'm a student of all things, so this is one more thing that I'm interested in learning. This is a hobby, and running is our lifestyle, but this is a hobby, and I love this. Not only drinking beer, but actually discovering new beers and learning about them and understanding the craftsmanship that's involved in creating them. And it's a great format, and I love what we're doing.
Well, thank you, everyone, for joining in. So our next show will be August 9th. That is a Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific time zone. Once again, thank you, everyone, for joining in. And we will be reviewing the Claremont Craft Ales is the name of the brewery. It is located in Southern California, and we will be tasting the Pepper and Peaches, which is a 6.7 alcohol. And please, if you can get a hand of it, you're more than happy to join us and let us know what you think. And thank you once again for joining us. Till next time.
Good night, guys.